Okay, this is going to be a multi-step process. First thing you do is open up Photoshop, and then you're going to open your picture. Now mine will look different because I have an orange background. You should have a green background in yours. Don't worry about that. Same concepts though. Alright, first, so you'll go File, and you go to find your files, wherever it is, open it up, and you have your picture. Now, first thing I want to do, once this is open, is over here in my Layers palette on the right hand side. If you don't see Layers, go to Window, make sure Layers is checked, because when we're working layers, I'm going to go ahead and make a copy of this. And always a good idea just make a copy of the original that you have. I can do this two ways. I can drag this down here. It's the easiest way. Or I can do Command J and it copies it. But just drag this down to the new layer icon down there. It makes a copy of it. Now this background copy, I'm just going to call this me. You don't have to change the name, but just makes it easier for me to understand. Alright, so we got background layer, and you got this one. This one we're going to work on. You notice this one has a lock on it. We'll go over that later. Alright, first thing we need to do is we need to remove this background here, the orange background. So if I come over to my tools on the left hand side, go 1, 2, 3, 4 down. If you hold the cursor over it, it says Quick Selection Tool. What I do is with that tool selected, I come over here and just start. You don't want to click too close to yourself, a little bit farther away. Click and just slowly drag, and it will start jumping automatically to the area. It's picking up similar colors. So very slowly, don't do it really fast. Once it goes down the end, I'll go ahead and leave the shirt, that's fine. I want to take this one, come across the top, very slowly. See, it doesn't matter if it's this dark orange, bright orange, medium orange, doesn't matter. It picks up similar colors. That's why you want to go slow. And notice I'm staying fairly far away from it, just a kind of a good habit. Kind of drift in a little bit. If you go too fast, it'll jump into here, and you just hit Command Z and back it out. Okay, but click and drag, and then release. Click and drag, release. And the reason you do that is because it gives you options on undoing. All right, so you got the whole thing selected. Now I want to kind of soften this selection, because if I just delete it now, it's going to have a really hard edge. So I'm going to do Select, Modify, and I want to feather my. I want to expand my selection just a little bit. We'll do it by 2 pixels, and that brings it in towards these edges just a couple pixels in. Then Select, Modify, Feather, and feathering just kind of softens and blurs that edge. Click OK, and now I can hit Delete. Now you don't notice anything happening here because I got the picture underneath, and over here though in the thumbnail you can see that it's missing the background. If I close this eye, it's there. And the reason we feathered it, I'll show you why. If I go in, it softens up this selection. If I hit Delete again, it softens it just a little bit. Then you hit Select, Deselect. There it is. Okay. Once you're done with this, File, I want you to Save As. I'll call it Me. You call it whatever you want. Make sure you're saving it as a Photoshop file though. Okay. Back into my folder, had everything else. Okay. Now I really don't need this layer, but I'm going to go ahead and leave it in there just because. Alright, so that's my first one. That's just basic me. Next, we're going to come over here on this same layer. I'm going to use this rectangular marquee tool. I'm going to come over to the corner of my mouth. I'm going to start in the corner, click and drag over to the outer edge of my mouth and come down right there. You're kind of picking up trying to get this just lined up with the corners of your mouth. Now, right now I need to round this off to my chin, so I'm going to go to the tool right below that, lasso tool, and up here I've got different options. I can add to my selection, I can take away. I'm going to take away, so click this third button right there. Now look at the line, edge of my mouth. I want to come down here, up, and grab all this. I'm just kind of rounding off the bottom of that. See how it does. If I want to shave off a little bit more of that, adjust my selection, there we go. Now same thing here. I want to follow along the edge of my top lip. So click and drag up and around. There you go. So it's a little bit more natural shape. Now if I take this, if I take my move tool, I can move that up and down. You can see where we're going here. Alright. I need to put this on a separate layer. So with it still selected, I'm going to do Command, which is a little squiggly thing next to your spacebar, and the letter J for jump. Just tap it one time. And that creates a copy of the little section we drew out. Now, I still have my face right here. What I want to do here though is I want to eliminate that from here. So I'm going to take this layer and do Command J, makes a copy. Always keep a copy. I'm going to turn that one off. Now, I want to, with my cursor right over this thumbnail, hold down the Command key and click the thumbnail, which loads that shape. But then it loads the shape. I have this layer selected. Make sure this layer is the one highlighted, and I can hit delete. Now you don't see anything happen because I close it, it's gone, and then I can do select, deselect, and now I've got my parts. You can see how it kind of creates this little edge, and that's okay. Now, go ahead and close the eye, and I want to fill in this gap right here, this little weird space. So I'm going to come over here, and make sure that black is selected. If not, click these little two squares here. That's the default colors, black in the foreground, white in the background. Come over here to my paint bucket. If you don't see it, if it's up here in the gradient tool, click and hold, grab the paint bucket, make sure black's selected, make sure this layer over here is selected, and dump some black into there. That will allow me, when I come up here and I grab this and I go into Premiere and I start animating, it will be going rah, 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 and talking. This is what we're going to be doing, making it talk. Again, Control Z or Command Z. Alright, so in this layer I have three pieces. I've got my regular face with solid, I've got the one with the black hole in here, and I've got just this piece here. Now at this point I'm going to go ahead and delete. I don't really need this background, so I'm going to go ahead and drag it to the trash, and I'm going to resave this. And again, make sure you save it as a PSD. Make sure it says Photoshop here. That's the me layer. And save again. Now, yes, I'm saving over. It's good just to keep save as you're going. Save parts of it. Okay. This is my base face I'm going to be animating. Next. Oh my gosh, I need the pop-ups. All right, next, I'm going to be making this bigger and be modifying it. Okay, so I'm going to go Image. And I'm going to do, instead of inches, I'm going to go ahead and go into percent. We'll say 150 on the width, 150 on the height. Now, I don't want it to expand from the center out. I want it to start here, so it expands out this way. So, because it leaves the bottom of it the way it is. Click OK. Now, to double click the hand, resize all this space. Now, in my recording, I said, hey, I'm Mr. Straight, I'm angry, I'm happy, I'm sad. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this layer down here, Command J, copy it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take these two layers, this one, drag it to the trash, this one, drag it to the trash, and I'm going to start modifying this. Now, I don't want to modify this top one, I'm going to modify the bottom one. I'll explain why later. So let me say I'm happy. So I'm going to take my layer here and go ahead and turn this layer off and go Filter and go down to Liquify, and we're going to start doing some strange things. All right, in your tools, you've got the first one's the Move tool, which allows you to grab and move things. This one, Reconstruct tool, if you want to, again, if your brush is too small, just do your bracket keys to the right, makes it bigger. I can reconstruct it kind of like, it's like brings it back to where it was. It's kind of a way of kind of fading it back. You've got pinch, which allows me to pinch, make things smaller. Or I've got bloat, which allows me to make things bigger. If I'm happy, I'm going to have big, large eyes. Kind of make these big. Now the trick is, I want to come up with kind of have an idea of what my finished product is. If I'm happy, I'm going to smile. My cheeks are going to be all puffy. Make this brush bigger. I kind of want to figure out an idea first of what I want this to look like. So big puffy cheeks. Take my smile. Really big. We're going to do extreme exaggerations. Maybe tuck this in a little bit. So that's kind of what I want to do. Maybe make the eyes bigger because I'm really happy. The larger the circle, the larger the space it kind of moves out. Okay, kind of move this down a little bit. Eyes are messed up. So there's a nice happy face. And then if that's what I want my finished product to be, like this, going from this to this. Now I'm going to Command Z, I'm going to undo that. All right. The process though to get to that is do it slow. So Filter, Liquify, and I want to do just a little bit at a time. The first time I did it was just to get a general idea and figure out how to do it, and now I'm going to do this one for real. So I'm going to say, okay, take the the bloat tool, maybe a little smaller. Start here in the middle of the eyes. Just do a little bit. One. A little bit there. A little bit of pinch on the nose. Just a little bit on the sides. Start pulling these together a little bit, and a little bit of push on the edge of the mouth. I'm not doing very much because we're going to do this in multiple stages. Make this bigger. Fatten out my cheeks. Big jolly smile. And start pushing these in. And click OK. You see on this one, it's a little more subtle change. Okay, so now I've got that one. I'm going to do Command J. And again, select the layer right below it. Turn the one on top off. Filter. Don't just hit liquefy because that does the same settings we just did. I don't want to do that. I want to do some new ones. So filter, liquefy, and we're going to then, same process, shrink the nose a little bit more, just a little bit there. Maybe start working with the eyes again. Actually, let's do the cheeks because we've still got set big cheeks, big puffy cheeks, a little subtle. Use the move tool, push up the smile line a little bit, and the eyes get bigger. Okay, click OK. And then Command J again. Turn this eye off. Filter. Whoops. Make sure this is selected. See? Now I can do it. Liquefy. And we'll do this one more time. So a little bit more bloating of the cheeks. Bigger cheeks. A little bit of a push for the mouth. Smiley face. Smiley face up there. Tuck this part in. This just helps to kind of exaggerate the movement and the shape. And then maybe a little bit bigger on the eyes. So I'm really wide-eyed and happy. Okay? So that gives me 3 stages. So I've got 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So I've got the original here, 2, 3. You can do more. 3 is going to be the minimum that you do if you want to do more fades, more warps, and get more extreme. That's fine. It's totally your choice. Okay, once I'm done with this, make sure these are all turned on. File, save as, and then this is going to be me. I'm going to call this happy. And again, save this as a Photoshop file. Okay. Now at this point, go ahead and once you finish that, we're going to close Photoshop, and I'll make another video because we're going to use Adobe Premiere.